Welcome to the Requel podcast. This is the segment where I pitch a film based on an existing property by myself. We often have guests and we pitch together. So, my daughter, the wonderful daughter that she is, has got hooked on this movie series on Disney Plus that's from a few years ago called The Descendants. And the new film, which is technically like a reboot sequel, but it's not the same beats. It's just like a continuation. I don't know. Maybe you'd call it a legacy sequel. I don't know. It's just the fourth film starting a new trilogy kind of thing, I guess. Premiered on Disney Plus, and of course, before that one, she went and rewatched all the old films called the new one is called The Rise of Red. So those have been on in the house a lot. And Selah begged me to sit down and watch them with her. So I did, because I'm a good parent. And we were driving the car the other day, and of course the kids are like, oh, what would I do for number 5? And everything. So we all started talking. So this pitch is a blend of all the ideas that we came up together. So here is our Descendants 5, tentatively titled Adventures in Wonderland, maybe, since now they've ditched the numbers. And here we go. So the film would pick up where Rise of Red left off, with Chloe and Red being, pals working through things. But what we do is, since they told us that the original characters of King Ben and Mal have left to go and find other kingdoms, we would have Doug and Evie return with 2 new characters. Katie and Clark for now. We'll think of better names as we go. But they are the twin children of Kristoff and Anna from the Frozen franchise. Because we know that Ben and Mal are looking for other kingdoms to join Auradon. So this would be the idea that they are exchange students / ambassadors for their land to see if Auradon is where they want to be. And of course, they would befriend Chloe and Red. Another new character we would meet Pete Jr., Peter Pan's and Wendy's son. Now this character would be interesting because he's technically the child of a hero, but he would actually be a villain. And he would be this idea that the heroes can have kids that are villainous. And he would be later an antagonist as things go down, since now we're trying to, the whole series has been based on giving second chances. So we're going to be giving second chances, but we're going to see that, this plays out later in the film. But we're also going to meet Hercules. Now, before you say, well, Hercules technically isn't a child. Yeah, we're going to kind of play with that because we met Hades before, and his daughter, of course, is Mal. Spoilers. But we're going to meet Hercules because we know that Kronos is his father, or his grandfather. And we'll meet Zeus, who brings his son Hercules, which is Hades' brother. So I think it works. It'll be kind of fun to kind of mess with that and kind of make a proper character actually one of the descendants, in a sense. It'd be kind of cool to mix it up like that. So Hercules shows up. He's, of course, complete, good jock, everything. But, has a hard time making friends. And this is our new core group of people. And like I said, Doug and Evie would return in small cameos if we can get the actors back. I try to explain that to the children. Like sometimes, actors move on. You have to try to find ways to continue stories without returning characters, being that only 2 characters from the original trilogy returned for, The Rise of Red. And I'm not going to pick it apart too hard because, these are films for children. The Rise of Red used time travel. And it's like, do we just use Back to the Future rules or what? Because there's a lot of things that could have happened when you time travel and change the past. But anyways, so what happens is Red decides that it's break from school and she's going to take Chloe and her new friends to Wonderland and explore Wonderland, because now Wonderland's part of the Auradon Kingdom, and Red and Chloe still retain memories of the before timeline. And she wants to, explore. So they go to Wonderland. And during their Wonderland trips, they meet in the woods Alice. Now, Alice is actually become the keeper of the Jabberwocky. And Alice actually has memories of the previous timeline as well. She's a lot older too. And she hasn't had any children or anything. She's just become like a hermit. And it is Peter Pan Jr., Petey, who actually frees the Jabberwock. And the Jabberwocky follows the kids back from Wonderland to Oridon. And of course, that's, going to be your big third act, is the Jabberwocky's terrorizing. And you kind of have Hercules doing his Hercules thing, and the Jabberwocky will get big and huge, and they have to work together to subdue this monster. And, there's a big conflict when it's revealed that Petey Jr. is actually villainous, and he is against his parents and hates his parents for just being who they are and being good and being part, human and part fairy or whatever. And that's kind of the big beats of the story. The kids and I had a fun time just talking through things. But the thing that I said at the end was, I think it'd be interesting if it's Evie and Doug that have a baby at the end, and they would name the baby Cameron to honor Cameron Boyce, who had passed away. There's a nice little tribute in Red Eyes of Red that acknowledged that something has happened with Carlos. And I think it makes more sense, without being too on the nose, to name the character Cameron than it is to be Carlos. And it's a nice way of those characters honoring the past. But I mean, that's like I said, that's the big beats. Anyone else from the past that we can get in there would be fun. These movies are lighthearted, just lots of music in it to fill up time. Exploring Wonderland would be neat. Throw in the Cheshire Cat, maybe the Caterpillar, Tweedledee, those type of characters that we have yet to get to see to give it some new life. But then at the end, part of the closing would be that the twins want to stay and send word to their parents that they think it's a good idea that they all come together. But that's kind of my quick pitch there. So yeah, inspired by my children.